This shop is basically another resource for you to use. I'm sure Kath's been telling you that you should be soaking up as much information as possible, making as many connections as you can, because down the line you're going to need to get a piece of fabric or get a price or, you know, lend something, and it's good to have a few people that you can call on, and we're one of those. So as you can see, we've got a fairly massive range of fabrics, and fabrics can range from all of about $10 a metre through to $500 a metre. So something to cover almost everyone, mostly the cheaper end of the scale at the moment. I understand you've sort of gone over how to work out how much material you need for different projects. Bit confused, but that's okay. Do you have to show me?
Oh yeah, I've got my online students. They're not here. Sorry, online students. They won't know who you are.
Basically, there's a formula for everything, and as long as you learn the formula correctly, you'll be able to work it out every single time. Now would be a really great time to grab a notepad and pen if you haven't got one. So you've gone over how to measure things.
How to measure the window, we've gone over twice, and how they have to take the measurements twice to be exact.
Check twice, cut once. Very good thing to remember. If you're working on, first of all, we'll work on a curtain. So your customer or your client has said, I'd really love a curtain there, and you're left to work out how much fabric you'll need. Now, first of all, before I get too into it, as a designer, you don't necessarily have to know exactly how much fabric you need for every job that you'll ever quote, because you've got people like us that you can come to and say, this is my window size and this is what we want to do. It'll do.
That's beautiful.
You reckon? Okay. This fabric here is glorious Morris cane. Second example. Alright, you can see here on this fabric, the pattern repeat is from here to the next one. So that's one pattern repeat there. So it's once if you're making a curtain, you're cutting slices this way. So this rolls down, this is the top of my curtain, this is the bottom of my curtain, but I've got to join them side by side to make the width, but we don't want leaves everywhere. So we're jumping the gun here big time, but anyway, you need to be able to sew this side of the fabric where that little leaf pokes out to meet up with this one, so as it all continues across. And that's what your pattern repeat is. So this pattern repeat, which I can't tell you because somebody's got a sample, on the back or even on the internet, on everything that you look at, you'll get the design name, super important, the colour, super important, width is 140 wide, so you need to know that to be able to work out how many drops you need, and your pattern repeat, which is 57 centimetres on this glorious fabric. So 57 centimetres from one point to the next point. So when you're working out how many drops you require, if your fabric has a pattern on it, you need to take into consideration that, otherwise by the time you cut it, you won't be able to make your leaves, in this case, match up. So to work out firstly how many drops you require, wherever my finger went, we're pretending our window is 1 metre wide. And we'll pretend that it's 2 metres drop. So, okay, so 1 metre multiplied by 2.3 for fullness equals 2300 wide. So, if you want to get literal, I need 2.3 metres of width of fabric, curtain fabric, to be able to pleat it all back up to make 1 metre. So I then divide that, so this is where you need to keep writing, divide by the width of your fabric, which is 140. And it tells me I need 1.64 metres. Always round up. So that means I need 2 drops, 1.6 up to, you round up to 2. So I need one drop on one side and one drop on the other side. Or if it's going to scoot back to one side, I need to be able to join them side by side to make 2 drops. Now is where the pattern repeat comes into it. I know that I need 2 drops, and I know that my window is 2 meters long. So 2 meters, you need to add some for folding over at the top for your heading and your hem at the bottom. So you add 30 centimeters because that's plenty for any curtain maker. So plus 0.300, and that comes out at 2.3 meters. Now 2.3 meters, if I'm using a plain fabric, completely fine. Multiply that by how many drops you've got, and that's exactly how much fabric you need. So if this was a plain fabric that I was making this curtain out of, I would need 4.6 meters. Order it, go for your life. But it's got leaves on it. So 2 meters is my curtain drop. I need 0.300 for the curtain maker, and then I need to multiply it by my pattern repeat.
It's multiply. We got it wrong. We were adding the pattern repeat.
You're a dad.
Well, that's what it said on the thing, didn't it? It did say that on that silly form.
Multiply that by your pattern repeat, which in this case is 57 centimeters, so 0.57. And it tells me I need 4.04, which is a massive waste of fabric because you've got to round it up. Always round up. So I need 5 pattern repeats, and I'm going to have this big piece that I chop off the bottom, but they can make cushions with it. 5 times 0.570, because that's what my pattern repeat is, equals 2.85, and I need 2 drops, so I times it by 2. Oh geez, I need 28 meters apparently. 2.000 plus 0.300 for headings and hems, divided by 0.570, which is my pattern repeat. 5 pattern repeats at 0.570 multiplied by 2 drops. 5.7 meters. Everyone get that? Are you petrified?
I think everyone keeps getting lost. Even I was lost when I was explaining because I'm not doing it all the time.
Should I do a little handouty thing and email it or Moodle it or something?
That would be really good.
Cool. Righto, I can do that. Basically, using plain fabric is so much easier, but 9 times out of 10 you're not going to go for a plain fabric because there's so many cool patterns. But it's easy once you get the sequence and you'll never get it wrong. So just to recap, on a plain window, take the width of your window, multiply by 2.3 and divide by the fabric width. Then that gives you how many drops you require. To work out how much fabric, take the drop or the length of your window, and we always talk width being wide, length or drop being the drop. So if you're talking width and you're talking about this, you're not using the right terminology. So it's drop or length. Take the length of your window, add 30 centimeters, and then multiply that by how many drops you required. And you've got plenty of fabric if it's a plain fabric. If it's a patterned fabric, you need to take your drop or your length, add 30 centimeters, multiply it by the pattern repeat on your fabric, and round that number up to the nearest pattern repeat. So in our
it's
case,
the vertical,
5,
but it's the vertical,
but it's always the
vertical pattern repeat.
Yeah, because
that's the thing hanging down. That's the thing where you cut
that's it. You're always cutting across this way, and you're always joining it side by side, unless we're making shears, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then you've got your pattern repeat. You clear your calculator, take how many pattern repeats that you were requiring, multiply that by the pattern repeat, and then multiply that by the drops required.